parents who aren't able to join can come back and have a look. And if you would like to have another look at a later date, then we'll post this onto our YouTube channel as of tomorrow morning. So first and foremost, I'm just going to show you a little bit about the technical side of it. So I'm just going to share my screen for you all to see. And the best place for the students to start first thing in the morning really is on our school website. They can find the document which had all of the information that was sent out to you via email on Sunday of the beginning of this week, and the students had similarly under the academic tab and down under student remote learning. So under this remote learning section, you can see that the Year 7 work to complete is there top of the list. And this has got all of the subjects documented in a contents page for the next 5 weeks. The front page is just a little bit of information for the students to get them to think about how they can support themselves with their learning, some etiquette around online learning, and just a chance for them to set up what they are going to do that day. So here is the contents page. So for example, if I wanted geography, because that was on my timetable first thing, this week I would have been doing this top line here. I'd be able to see that my PowerPoint was in Teams. I'm going to watch some YouTube videos. There's some self-quizzing to do and some doddle. So that would give me an idea of what's happening over the day, and I'm going to show you how to access Teams to have a look at that information. You might have noticed at the top there that the maths subject content is divided down into 3 sections per week. So if your child is a secure mastery mathematician, developing or secure, or foundational developing, you can actually click on that differentiated work for them to complete. If though you're working at secure and mastery but you're finding it a bit challenging, then please do suggest to them that they just work on the lower level, which is absolutely fine, and vice versa. If the work's a little bit easy, then feel free to push yourself up and to move on and through. So all the work is there for all 5 weeks. So if the students say to you, I can't find any work, please direct them to that PDF first and foremost. Some parents I know have printed it off and are using it as a bit of a checklist so that they can say to the children, you know, what have you done? Have you done this bit? Ticking that off as they go, just so that they can see what's they've got and what they need. So if I just go back to the main page, there's also this really helpful link here, which is our help videos. And those help videos are videoed in screens that are the same as the student accounts. So they can see there exactly what they would see if they were logging on. Things like how to access the Learning Zone, how to get into Teams, assignments, which I'm going to show you a little bit about as well, uploading information, and installing the app, the Teams app, onto their tablet or their mobile phone. So if they're unsure about doing anything technically, then if they go to that page, which is from the remote learning page, then they'll be able to have a look at those videos as they need to. So again, the reason why I say to start at the school website is because you can also see our link to our email, and we are asking that teachers email students in the morning for the lessons of that day, which gives them a little bit more content information around the work that is on the PDF. Also makes contact, which is really nice. And also that they can see the new Learning Zone. So unfortunately, because we've had to get to this solution quite rapidly, we've got a couple of places where the students might find the work, and the table might direct them to a couple of different locations. That's really just because we've been, as a teaching body, on a massive learning curve, as you can probably imagine, to get to the point where we have all of this content online ready for the students to access. We actually feel like we've probably gone through the same learning curve the last 2 weeks that the students are about to embark on this week and next week. So we are feeling exactly how they are feeling in terms of, oh, it's all different, and we're just having to work through it. But it does get better, you do get more familiar, and we're glad that the students are digital natives, so really do immerse themselves in this, and we'll find it much more quickly than we probably did. So the first place is the 3 little lines here, and all of the subjects they will see for themselves that they have on their timetable. So they can go in here to the subject, they can have a look, let's say for example at art, and they'll see the year group subject folder arrive for art when it loads up, and they can just have a look inside there and they'll find the different resources that they need for the lessons ahead. So this week I think they have been doing in art around colour, and so you can see that the folder there is for Year 7 art colour, and inside there are the PDFs that the students need, the PowerPoint, sorry, that the students need to use in order to complete the work. So that's one place they can find that information. Now you'll have noticed on that document that there is also a reference to Teams, Microsoft Teams, and some of you who might be using this for business will be familiar with it. The students can find this up at these 9 little dots at the top left-hand corner of the new learning zone. If you click on there, you will find Teams, and that will just load it up. Now basically Teams is a collection of all of the classes that the students are members of across their timetable day. So they will see different groups where they will find, again, the files like I've just shown you, but in a different place. And they will also find assignments. And assignments are places where students can submit work and the teacher can give them feedback on that work. So let me just show you one of my Year 7 classes. Taught them today, so I know that some of them have been on and communicating with me. So it comes up and we've got the posts, so we can communicate through there, a bit of a chat board if we want to. Files here, which again is a similar place to what the students see on the new learning zone. Some teachers will have posted in here as well, and you can see my class materials are there. And then finally, the assignments. So this is the most important place for the students to look, because this is an opportunity for them to get feedback for the work that they've done. You can see for myself as a teacher, I can see that I've had 8 students hand in the work already with a deadline of Monday. So that's a good start for me, teachers to see that. So if I go to my assignment, and I can show you what that looks like in the student view, and the students can see a bit of information about what they're being asked to do. And there is a document that they can load up and work within Teams to actually add content to that. You don't necessarily need to download it and re-upload it. You can just work live in that document, which is great if you don't own Microsoft Office on your computer, because Office 365 comes with Microsoft Word. If I go back to the 9 dots, you can see that we've got all that software in there, Word and PowerPoint, and students can use that. So having that information and working in there means that they can submit that to their teacher, and if they do that, they will get the feedback from the teacher to be able to move on with their learning. Now, I don't have a full set of assignments because I only teach once a week. So that means that my assessment allows the students to do some work, develop their game, and then I will assess again, and then I will assess again. So don't expect to see assessments for every lesson, because there will be opportunities for children to do work in their exercise books in the meantime, and then the assignments will be to really just check on their understanding and assess their work that they have done over the course of 2 or 3 lessons perhaps. And then an assessment might be a form, which is in the form of a quiz that's self-marking, and it might be something more formal to submit. The help video will show students how to upload photographs if they've done their work in their exercise book, or perhaps for art they're going to be able to upload it via photograph. So they can have a look at that in order to do that as well. So if the students are struggling in any way with the work, still unsure, then asking them to just email their teacher is a really good way of getting a bit more clarification. And the more specific the students can be with their query in their email is beneficial, because it means that that's one communication back from the teacher rather than several. And it also means that the teacher who's teaching a number of different classes across different year groups can just really understand what it is that the young person is asking. Now, because our teachers, some of them are looking after and homeschooling their own children, some of them might not be working because they're not well at the moment, then students shouldn't expect to have an immediate response from the teacher. So in that interim period, if they are waiting for some help, then Louise will talk a little bit about how they can do that. But thinking about other enrichment activities they could do, got lots of reading challenges available for them, and with the weather so beautiful, it's just a nice opportunity to be out. So thinking about what they can do if they are stuck and waiting that could be one option, but Louise will talk about that in a bit more detail. So I'm going to hand over to Louise now, and she will pick up a little bit on the teaching and learning side.
Thank you, and I'm going to try and answer a few of the questions that I've just seen in the chat as well. So, and I think I'm going to start with that. So, just to talk a little bit about the work that's been sent out to you. Initially, when we were forced into lockdown a few weeks ago, it was very much thrust upon us, and we were racing around to pull together some quality work to send home for your children, which is what we did. But we've been able to have a bit of time since then to reflect on the best way forward, and so that is why we've produced midterm plans. And the idea of the midterm plan is it produces an overview, a week by week overview that allows for progression, and it's actually much more purposeful and personal for your students, so children, sorry, so that they are learning in the way that they need to be for each subject. So we have emailed that to you, so you are informed about that. You'll see that it's got a week commencing, so it's the work for that week. It has clear learning objectives of what will be learnt during that week, and then the resources like Claire's just shown us. Now, apologies, they aren't necessarily emailed every day, but we have asked definitely the teachers email each week to explain what the children should be doing for their work. But I just want to reassure all of you, and when I see some of the comments as well, that we are not expecting you to take on the role of a homeschooling parent. We know that you want to support, and so we're going to give you some examples of how you can do that. But please do not feel it is your role to homeschool your child. It is. We will ask you for some support, yes, but we really want to encourage the children to be independent and take responsibility for this, and it will require a bit of resilience, because like Claire says, it's going to take a bit of time to get used to. We're so pleased already with how well the children are adapting to this, so that's absolutely fantastic. But just to reassure you, there's a couple of things in there about could we email the work to parents. It's probably too big a job to do that, unless there's something really specific that you want, because we can very quickly email all of our students as one class from our email. And none of us have got access to Sims at home, so which is how we would email all parents together. So that would be a difficult thing for us to do, and I wouldn't want you to feel like you needed to be kind of micromanaging what your children are doing as well. So perhaps if I could just guide you on two things, if you were to do two things to support them, this is what it could be. So the first thing would be to check in with your child that they're meeting their deadlines. Just check with them that they have submitted like they have been asked to on Teams, because if they've been given an assignment with a deadline, have they submitted that? Are they doing the work that's been asked of them? And check in with them about that. If they're not, you will find out, and Heather will talk to you a little bit about that in a moment. So if they're not engaged, if you don't hear anything from school, I would assume that everything is fine. But do just check in, please, if you could. Have they handed in their work, any work that has been requested to be handed in? We can't be checking every piece of work, so please don't think they've got to show evidence of every single thing that they're doing. But the assignments to be handed in are the important ones. The second thing that you could do that would be really useful would be to ask them about, on the midterm plans, there's a learning objective. So you could go to the learning objective, for example, I can't remember what it was for geography that Claire just showed us, but the learning objective for geography, what have you learned today, and get them to talk to you and explain that back to you in their own words. That is a fantastic way to try and get them to recall, and evidence and research shows if they can recall their learning later on in the day or even later on in the week, then it's more likely to go into their long-term memory. So hopefully that's just a couple of things that you could be doing that is not too time consuming for you, that would really offer a great deal of support to them and to us. So that's the checking in, and then maybe asking a few questions about their learning. The other thing to talk about, which I'm sure you talk to your friends about, and fellow parents, and that you'll have seen all over the media, is to have some kind of structure or sequence to the day, and how really fundamental that is, so that they can establish some routines and a rhythm for working. Of course, that could be anything, a certain start to the day. It could be starting with Joe Wicks and an evening walk as a family, just the way that they have their break times, but just some kind of routine and sequence would be really good for them. We are suggesting that we have recommended that the children follow their usual timetable to give them a structure, and so that they have a balance of subjects. They could do that by writing the 6 subjects, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 subjects they have each day in their diary, and then just tick off as they do those subjects. Now, we have had questions about that, and I completely understand. We had a bit of feedback. Some parents saying, oh, they finish really quickly. That is nothing to worry about, because there's less talk time when they're working individually. At school, there'd be more discussion, more questioning. Generally, the lesson just takes a bit more time. So don't worry if they finish quickly. But equally, if it's taking them a long time and it's you're finding that they're perhaps not able to move on to their next subject quickly enough because they're spending a disproportionate amount of time on certain subjects, then it's absolutely fine to just call a stop on that, move on to the next subject. And if they can't complete their work because it's too much, it is absolutely fine to stop. Just let the teacher know, because we don't want them to feel overloaded either. What we've produced is, we hope, enough work, but we understand that one size doesn't fit all. So if they're struggling to meet those deadlines, or it's too much work, please do let teachers know. They will be understanding. The children can let the teachers know. Finally, the last thing I've got written down is about independence, and we use the phrase brain, book, buddy and boss in school to try and encourage our children to be independent. And really, this is such a challenging time. We need this more than ever, don't we? It is challenging, and we want to support them as much as we can, but it's going to be quite a steep learning curve for them as well, this. So what we say is to really try and, if they get stuck, to see if they can work it out for themselves and not worry. You know, it's a challenge, and that's a challenging feeling, isn't it? And uncertainty, but not worry about it. Try and work it out for themselves. Think about it, use their brain. Then go to their book, or go to their resources, or the letters that we've sent out, or the website to have a look. If it's technical, look at the videos like Claire said. The third thing is buddy, and we find this is really useful, that they go to their peers for support. They might check in with somebody else in their class, just check to see how they did it, if they got stuck. And then obviously the boss is the teacher. Come to the boss and ask us, email us, and we will get back to the students. So I was thinking there was something else I wanted to say. Yeah, so that was the aspect about the independence. I have one more question to answer that came up in the list, and that was about video lessons. I don't know if we've answered that question in there, but not everybody will be offering video lessons. We are encouraging it, but it is not a requirement that we've made of people, because it's quite a big thing to give a video lesson like that remotely. So don't worry if you've not heard anything about video lessons. It isn't timetabled. It wouldn't go through you as a parent. It would go through the communication with the teacher and the student, where we will be letting them know exactly when it's scheduled and how to get onto Teams to be able to do that. So that's how we're managing our video lessons. I have just seen a comment then that's just popped up about overload. So we do appreciate the feedback, and I'm keeping a note of everything, and we are going to be reflecting on that and taking it back to subjects as well. So thanks for the feedback. Again, I'll have a look at the questions while the others are talking, see if there's anything else that I can answer. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Louise. That's great, and thank you for continuing to field the questions as well. So I'm going to hand over to Mario, so that he can give a little bit of information around the pastoral side.
Thank you. I have been sending out a weekly, each week, an email and a video just to check in with the students. There's been some activities we can do. We did some sporting activities. We've done a little reading challenge, and hopefully that's a way that I can touch base with them. And also their tutors will be sending emails at least once a week. Now, whilst I don't mind not getting a reply as much as I love them, I would like them all to respond to their tutor just once a week if possible, to check back in for that pastoral support, so we know they're having a chat with someone who is invested in them. They have their own little tutor group challenges. I've seen some pictures and other bits and pieces. So I will send a weekly one, and also the tutors will send some information out as well with some of our PSHE type work, our life choices activities, and that will come to students through there. I've spoken to about 20 families today, and I've heard all of the things you're saying today. There's not enough work, there's too much work, they're working too hard, they're not working enough, and I can see it with a year group of 265. It's really hard to try and make you all happy, and I'm so proud of the staff at the school and how they've stepped up, and it's been so good to hear from you guys as families this week. Like I will always say, is the three things that underpin our team Ringwood in year 7 are try your best, be kind, and get involved. And in terms of the try your best, you do what you can in the 50 minutes that has been set, communicate that to your teacher, and there will be no problems. I know some of the very conscientious ones of you out there are spending hours on things that you need not do. I think spend the time you can in the lesson, communicate with staff, and you'll be fine. And the getting involved side of things, looking at the range of work, making sure you've got lots of different activities throughout your day, and the being kind part, being kind to yourself, looking at time for physical activity, spending time with your family. I sent a positive news link earlier on in the week. We can get surrounded by a lot of negativity at the moment, so it's nice to find some positivity on our time. Maybe be kind to your parents by learning to do some chores, work out what that machine does, where all the washing goes. That might help your mums and dads. So in terms of your family and your team, those three things that underpin Team Ringwood are really important. On top of those phone calls that I've made, if you think that students would benefit from a call from myself or the tutor, be it a morale boost, be it a pep talk, we are more than happy to check in. And if you need that support in terms of them building good habits at home, the tutors and I are also happy to do that if you get in touch. We are always here at the end of an email if you need us, and just give us a comment or a message if you want any additional support. I think that's it.
That's great. Thanks very much, Mario. It's really great, I know, for the students to be able to just to see Mr. Massimino live rather than on his weekly videos that I know he's doing as well. So thank you for your time this evening away from your family. Heather, perhaps you'd just like to do the final input.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Apologies if I haven't got to your question. It's been really difficult to keep track of all the questions and making sure I've answered everything. So apologies if I haven't got to you. As Claire said at the beginning, we will save this chat, and if there are questions we haven't answered, we'll get that out to you. Just for me, just a re-emphasis really of what the others have said, that our emphasis really is on supporting your child. We are in a situation where there are no detentions, there are no exclusions, there is no way that we can sanction any of your children, and we wouldn't want to. We really just want to make sure that they are supported and engaging with their learning, and that will be different for every student. We've got messages on the chat saying that they're working too hard and the work's too much, and others saying that they are finished by sort of 11 o'clock in the morning and should there be more. So we appreciate that it's different for every student, and therefore they will need different levels of support. In terms of what you might expect from teachers, the great thing about Teams is when you set an assignment, the teacher can see not only if the work has been submitted, but also if it's even been viewed. So if, say, the PowerPoint that they've set hasn't been even opened by a child, then that would flag a little bit of a concern to them. And so the first thing they'll do is to drop your child an email just to say, is everything okay? Have you seen the work? Have you managed to download the Teams app? Is there anything I can do to help? If they don't get a response, then the next thing they'll do probably is drop you an email. Again, no judgment, no criticism, but just to check that everything is okay. So do they have everything they need? Do they have IT access? Do they need any additional support? We have got extra support running alongside everything we're doing. We've got our TAs checking in with many of the students that they normally see. Our pastoral team are doing some one-to-one emotional support sessions at the moment for some of our students that are struggling. So we do have support available. You just need to ask. We'll do all we can to support your children through this time. The very last thing to say is if we see maybe across a few subjects that a child is not managing to get the work done, or they're not engaging, or they're not opening any of the documents that are being set, then you might just get a phone call from Mr. Massimino. He might just drop you a line just to make sure that everything's okay. Obviously, we're phoning from home on our own phones, so if you get a withheld number, it might not be somebody selling you PPI, it might well be Mr. Massimino checking in to make sure you're okay. So do give that phone an answer just to see if it is one of us. On the flip side of having no sanctions and no detentions, we do still have rewards, and our teachers are still awarding ePraise house points as normal. So as work comes in, they'll be given those house points for progress and effort and all the normal things that we would reward for. So please do encourage your children to log into their ePraise accounts and have a look at the points that they're getting. They can obviously save those points and spend them in the shop when our school is open and the shop is open again, and they spend them on stationery and sweets and all those kind of things. But we've always had options on ePraise for students to donate to charity, and we've recently added the NHS and some local charities, our local food bank, for example, in Ringwood. And I've been really overwhelmed by the response from our students in how they've selflessly donated their own hard-earned points. We've had over £100 donated to the NHS, which is absolutely brilliant. So please thank them from us for doing that, and encourage them to keep looking at their rewards, because we will continue to encourage them in every way we can. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Heather. And just a final word from me, really. We appreciate that all being in the same place with this isolation means that homes can get a little bit fraught at times. So not only have we got the work on our website, but you can also find under the safeguarding and wellbeing pages information and helplines if you need them, or indeed if you know families who might need them. We're a community school, and while we're looking after the education the best we can, it's up to us all to really keep an eye out for each other. And so likewise, if you've got friends who haven't been able to see the session tonight, then please do flag to them that the video will be available to them. But also, if you know families are struggling, then do have a look at those pages. There are numbers there. However, our safeguarding@ringwood.hants.sch.uk email address is manned 24/7. So please do feel free to utilise that as well. We will pick that up. But we do appreciate that the pressures and demands on technology, pressures and demands of living together under such close proximity is not easy. We're all feeling that, and so there might be times when you just need to reach out, or you might know people who do. And school is still available and still open for that. So please do reach out to us via Mr. Massimino, or if you need anything, you're not sure where to send it, if you send a message to schoolclosure@ringwood.hants.sch.uk, then again your question can be fielded to the right person to get you help as quickly as you can. So thank you very much again for your time this evening. We appreciate we cut across your evening, and it's such a nice one out there today as well, so we hope you have had a chance to enjoy a little bit of it. The video will go online tomorrow if you want to recap on that, and we really appreciate the thanks that are coming through. We're doing this a little bit blind without these sorts of sessions giving us the feedback. We are doing the very best we can under the circumstances, and so knowing you're there to give us some response, your children are contacting us, means that as we go through the next 5 weeks, we can just evolve the work that's being set. We can make sure that it's suitable, there's enough of it, it's differentiated well and accessible, so that we can continue really that learning journey for your child, so that whenever it is that we reconvene on school site as a school community, this time has not been wasted and has been valuable for them. So thank you very much again for your time and your engagement, and we look forward to communicating with you again soon, and we hope that you all stay safe. Thank you.